Good morning, Nigeria. Bye, also. You're tuning to Golding 97.5 FM. And this is the Thank God It's Friday edition of Let's Talk Nigeria, your trusted morning talk show where we unpack the issues that shape our nation, spark dialogue, and inspire change. I am Moya Steving.
And I am Paul Oblumugbasa.
I'm glad to welcome you to yet another edition of this program where your voice and your thoughts matter. Well, today we turn our attention to a bold call that has been making the rounds in the public discourse. Michael Zegme's SAN's call for accountability in governance. Accountability is one of the pillars of democracy. It is what ensures that leaders entrusted with power remain answerable to the people who gave them that power in the first place. Without accountability, governance becomes a playground for abuse, corruption, and neglect of the very citizens it is meant to serve. And recently, respected human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Mike Ozegme, reignited the national conversation by insisting that governance in Nigeria must be rooted in transparency and accountability. But what exactly does he call, or does his call mean for us as citizens and for those in positions of power? Why does accountability remain such a difficult culture to entrench in our political system? And how can Nigerians, ordinary people like you and I, demand and secure it without fear or fatigue?
Yeah, so these questions are not just theoretical, but they cut into the very fabric of our national reality. From the handling of public funds to the execution of policies to the delivery of essential services, accountability is the difference between progress and stagnation, and between trust and suspicion, also between leadership that serves and leadership that exploits. Supporters of Ozekome's call argue that true development will remain elusive until leaders are compelled to account for their actions, decisions, and use of resources. They insist that accountability is not a favor from government, but a responsibility. Take note. Accountability is not a favor from government, but a responsibility, a duty that every official owes the people. On the other hand, skeptics wonder whether such calls ever go beyond speeches, considering the entrenched culture of impunity that has plagued Nigeria for decades. So today, we are asking, what does accountability in governance really look like? How can it be enforced in practical terms? What role should institutions, civil society, the media, and ordinary citizens play in ensuring that those who lead us are held responsible? And most importantly, is Nigeria ready to move beyond rhetoric into real action when it comes to accountability?
So to help us unpack these critical questions, we have with us this morning Paraboma Ngbongo Esquire, a seasoned legal mind and passionate advocate for good governance. With his wealth of experience and legal insight and civic engagement, Mr. Ngbongo will shed light on what Ozekome's call truly demands of us all, government, institutions, and citizens alike. Good morning to you, Paraboma Ngbongo.
Good morning.
As always, we will be hearing from you, our listeners, because accountability thrives when the people speak up. Do you think Nigeria has the structures and the willpower to embrace accountability in governance? Or are we still dancing in circles of talk without change? Stay tuned. This promises to be a deeply engaging and eye-opening conversation. This is Let's Talk Nigeria. Okay, so before we start the conversation, let's listen to an excerpt of Mike Ozekome's speech at the NBA conference, of course, hosted in Enugu. Just a little excerpt, and when we return, we will now look at it deeply. Barrister Paraboma Ngbongo is right here to give us good insights. Take a listen.
Let's make allusion to the paper presented by the CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented by the GOC here, when they talked about what they call national security. We have had that again and again, national security. Right from the time of the Lugadian amalgamation of January 1, 1914, all the colonial masters, all the military youngsters in this country, up to the present government, they talk about national security. It is a lie. The reality is that their national security is actually government security. It's not security for you and I. Many of you, when you were coming to Enugu on this journey, were you not scared? Were some of you not followed by fully armed personnel? Because there's no national security. It is just government security, security of those in power to manage or mismanage your resources. That's the idea of their so-called national security. And let me also say, and I thank God that many of the officers are here representing the various securities. For as long as you do not respect citizens' rights, for as long as you do not respect lawyers' rights to practice their profession without molestation, we will continue to fight.
All right, so that's Michael Zekume, SAN, speaking on national security. And of course, when you listen further, you will get to hear more about accountability in governance. So let's ask Mr. Igbombo. Let's begin with the basics, the very basics. When Michael Zekume talks about national security, accountability in governance, what exactly is he calling for? Is he calling for some kind of, protests or rally or asking governors? How would Nigeria go about all of this and holding government accountable?
First port of call is information. Many things people get to grope in the dark. And when you're in the dark, it is difficult for you to take informed decision. Darkness will never ever withstand light. And the darker it is, the better their chances of manipulation. The first port of call is that there should be openness in the activities of the country. If you have a policy, it must be clearly explained. It must be put out there so that people know what you're saying that you want to do. Now, when they know what you are saying you want to do, when you put it out there, it is unambiguous, it is straight, it is easy to understand. Then they will know how to hold you accountable. This and this and this are the things you've said you are going to do. It's just to give an account of what you have promised to do, not what you are forced to do. Usually you come in via certain understanding, via certain manifestos, making certain promises anchored on certain activities. So this is what you have said. These are the resources that you've gotten concerning this. How far have you gone with it? What have you done? To what extent have you achieved your goals? If you have not, what is left? First off, people must not grope in the dark. It is when people grope in the dark, there is confusion, there's misrepresentation, there's misunderstanding. That's number one. Secondly, implementation. The reason why it has to be open is that they will see to the implementation themselves. For instance, in this country, it is only those that are rendering service that are claiming to have rendered service. If you render a service, the beneficiaries of the service should know. You shouldn't be the one claiming that you have rendered the service to a group of people and they are not seeing the delivery of the service. No, it's not in your place. It is in their place to say, oh, we have received this service. You are rendering this service. It is in their place to say you have received this service. And now, usually where the talk of national security and national protection comes in is when people begin to ask questions as to what you said you have done. And glaringly, it is obvious that you haven't done those things. They ask questions, you take them for granted. You ask questions, you lie. And they decide to galvanize themselves and join forces together to say, no, we want this. Before you know it, the quickest route of escape is to say, oh, national security dictates this, that, and the other. When Michael Zekume talked about national security, his allusions were to the fact that the basis or the facts surrounding the circumstances that have led to the claim for national security does not in any way represent the interest of the people. It represents the interest of some people, not the people. That sect of those whose interest is represented are those that are in power, largely. That was the circumstance from which Michael Zekomo spoke.
So, in your view, then, I'm forced to ask, why has accountability then remained such a persistent challenge in Nigeria's democracy since independence?
Deliberate. It's deliberately orchestrated by Nigerians, especially those who have the opportunity to render service. Deliberately orchestrated. In Nigeria, you have structures of government littered across board. And the reason for these structures is to aid the delivery of government policies and reality so that they manifest into impact the lives of the people. For instance, every state, in fact, let's start with local government. Every local government has a secretary. That's someone who writes and documents. They have spokesperson, someone who speaks on their behalf. At the state level, you have the governor and the commissioner for information who is supposed to speak. Beyond the commissioner of information, you also have a press person or a press team. At the national level, you have the minister for information and many other special assistants or aides of the president that are supposed to speak to the people. You also have the National Orientation Agency. Now the question is, how far have they communicated to Nigerians concerning even the policies of their government? Do they even know it? Do they have bearing or understanding as to where it is going? How does it relate to how does it directly impact the people? Sometimes even when they communicate these policies, you see that it is twisted or tilted in favor of their principles, not actually serving the purpose that it was meant. And the minute you oppose it or stand against it or bring superior fact, the next thing is that they label you, you are against the government. And you speak beyond certain limits. Before you know it, a charge is slammed on you and you're taken. This thing has happened all over, across states, across country, even in local government areas. In fact, it has gone even into the business sector today, where a person complains about a product that is not working. The next thing you see is that the product owner employs the services of the Nigerian security agencies. They slam a charge against the person. A complainant over the quality of a product will find himself in cell. What the plan is to ensure that these things do not work. These structures are all in place to make sure that results are achieved. But people deliberately, I repeat, intentionally in capital letters, take these actions to ensure that the results are not there. It's not rocket science. Just simple transparency would help the whole process. This is what we want to do. This is when we intend to do it. This is the resources we have to do it. Please, it is in the public glare. So if this is what we say we want to do and the time comes and we have not done it, you can simply get to us. But it's deliberate and intentional. It is not because accountability and transparency cannot work. It is because power holders or those in the helm of affairs have deliberately ensured that it doesn't work. So the reason is so that it will favor their intentions that are anti-people.
All right, so let's just take a little break and take a special announcement. We'll be right back.
Experience the gold standard on Golden FM. You got it. Go. Golden FM. Yeah. 97.5.
Now listen to this special announcement, and this is to inform owners of sand dumps and commercial tipper drivers that the Swale Oxbow Lake section of the ongoing Agbora Lake Road will be closed to traffic from 6 a.m. on Saturday, September 6th to 2025. The road closure will affect only heavy-duty vehicles, and it will last for 3 months. This is to enable the construction company to build a drainage system on that section of the road, as well as to enable them to complete the project according to schedule. We kindly request for understanding and cooperation during this period, as the completion of this project will significantly improve accessibility and safety for all. And this is signed by Estate Surveyor Moses Tebowe, Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure.
Cruising around by Yelsa on 97.5 Golden FM.
right, so we're back to Let's Talk Nigeria. And remember, the topic is about accountability. We're looking and unpacking Mike Ozekume's call for accountability in governance.
Barrister, you were saying something about transparency and accountability. Then, so I just want to ask, what role does transparency and access to information really play in holding leaders accountable, even especially now that we have the Freedom on Information Bill?
Now, the Freedom of Information Bill, it's Freedom of Information law and some state, the Freedom of Information Act at the national level. Now, the challenge with all this is that the essence is that people would have unhindered and reasonable access to information, because that information would enable them take informed decision as to the direction of government policies. It is geared towards accountability. If you don't have information, what would you want the person to account for? Yes, that's the essence. Now, the challenge with the Freedom of Information Bill or law is that it is a national law. And for it to be applicable at the state level, it has to be domesticated. Now, while some states have domesticated it, some have not. Now, in those states where it has been domesticated, of course, the contents will fully apply. When I mean domestication, it means the State House of Assembly need to adopt it and pass it as a state law that is binding on them. Now, in those states where it has not been domesticated, you cannot compel the content of that law, because it has not been so domesticated, it wouldn't apply to the state. So I think the first thing to do is to push that every state, adopts it at the state level so that it becomes generally applicable. If you do not have information, you are groping in the dark. You will not be able to say a thing or two concerning any policy of government or direction of government, because you do not know. But if you know, it is at that point that you can begin to ask relevant and vital questions. So information is the first raw material required to engender a process of accountability. It is from the information you have that you can now ask salient questions. You can now look at timelines. You can now look at realities on ground and the content of the paper and see if there is a match. If what is promised is different from what is being done. If the timelines for which the promise was supposed to be kept is not being kept. Now, if the quality of the promise that is made is not what is seen on ground, all of these issues can only be made possible. You can only have this information, this knowledge, and how to quiz the system if only you have information. So there's also the deliberate part to ensure that information is not made public or is not made open, so that people will not have dimension.
Works provides sufficient mechanisms to hold leaders accountable.
Yes, it does. The challenge is in the application. Now, when we are taught that it is better to have a bad law and a good administrator of the law than having a good law and a bad administrator, what we have had largely is the presence of good laws and bad administrators of those laws. So no matter how good you do that, you must first of all know that this is what the person needs to do, and this is what the person does is restrained from doing under the law. Now if you know it, you can now take those steps. Now, the capacity to taking those steps is also another issue, because to a great extent, the morals of the people have been daunted to such an extent that it becomes pretty difficult for some people to even stand up to these occasions. So that is a challenge in itself. But if it's for laws that are on ground sufficient enough to, buttress the facts or push forward accountability, we have a lot of them. The judicial system, administrative laws, procedural laws, and all of that, they are in abundance. Recall the law that established INEC, gave them powers to make subsidiary directives and legislate to guide their activities, which they made and refused to follow. A good example is the fact that they said they were going to transmit results. They made it, it is in their laws, but they refused to follow it. So you see, it's not about the absence of laws in itself. It is ordinarily, do you expect that kind of action from people that young? The answer is no. Even the law says people that are older should not even engage in those kind of. In fact, security agents are forbidden by law to subject anybody to torture, inhuman, and degrading treatment, as we saw in that video. But is that the case in the Nigerian context today? The answer is no. So our moral standard has drastically nosedived. So when we go with the standard, the quality of the standard that we have, it becomes an issue. Now, these people that do not have anything to offer also know that if the selection process is free and fair, they will not have access. So they try to do everything humanly possible to adulterate the system to ensure that they have access. So it's still a function of moral standard, attitude, refusal to comply with laws, and all of these are formed the gamut from which we face this very terrible situation that we are in now.
So many argue that institutions like the EFCC, the ICPC, and even the National Assembly have the mandate to enforce accountability, but often are compromised. Why do you think this is so?
The economic and financial crimes have done some part, of their mandates. But we have also heard in this country where some elites are roaming the street free. The hammer is hard on Mr. A and it's not hard on Mr. B because of political affiliations. It is alleged in the social media that anybody that moves to the All Progressive Congress have their sins forgiven. And this statement was made by very ranking political officers in this country. So when a standard stands for A and it doesn't stand for B, what do you call accountability and enforcement and all of that? How do you call that? We were here in this country where the Senate president, against the position of members of the House, hit the gavel to support a position that majority did not carry, especially in the case of Natasha. Is he not the one that was supposed to enforce? The court gave an order, reinstate this person, and up until date it has not been done. And what you hear is that, there's an appeal, there is no appeal. Disobeying flagrantly the orders of the court. There is the Federal Character Commission law in this country wherein you choose people according to allocation. But the Rivers State House of Assembly has a foreigner as chairman of the RISEC. And these things went to the National Assembly and everybody there endorsed it. Or at least majority of them. Is that the kind of system where you say they should hold accountable? Yes, they are doing their best at sustaining the tempo of accountability. But then that best, it is not even up to 20%.
Do you think we will ever in this country get to the point of accountability, leaders?
If we are able to elect people of our choosing, we'll get there at the speed of light.
The moment we have the people, like you said, the people that we really elected, we can get to hold them. So what do you think would be the best tools, the tools that's supposed to be used in holding them accountable? What can we use from the local level, from local government level to the federal?
First off, you must not stop talking. In this case, the viral Nancy case, you saw that when that brutalization occurred, on social media and every media, including myself, I was on various fora talking about it. It got the attention of the government. And just recently, the Gender Response Initiative team, that's GREAT, in conjunction with the First Lady of Bayelsa State, they have stepped in. The Commissioner of Police got instruction just less than 24 hours. The Commissioner of Police got instruction less than 24 hours, and they called the suspects. At least 3 out of 4 of them have been apprehended. So let's assume nobody talked. Everybody kept quiet. Nothing would have happened. It would have gone down the drain. So the first thing is that you keep talking. The minute you keep talking, they come against you because they know that there's the power in unity in our voices. I give you an example. When the NSAS saga was on, people kept talking about these things and nothing was done. And they took it to the next level, galvanizing support and coming out to demand for it. What did the president say at that time? He said they want to overthrow his government. So we must not stop talking. If a thing is wrong, it is wrong. You continue to talk about it.
And even the recent one concerning the redeployment of civil servants, from the pensions board or
You know,
whatever.
it's
People
a
keep
function-
talking.
it's-
People
it's-
kept
you see,
talking and talking and
When
talking.
you
And
see, I am getting very, very. In the last 1 week, Dohe Diri has been my man. Why do I say so? People were complaining about certain social issues.
Talking and
First of
talking.
all, was the unnecessary activities of machine ground people. You know, unnecessary activities. People kept talking, people kept complaining, and the government heard. What did it do? They banned it. Now, there is also have been a huge hue and cry. You know, the government, upon coming in, made it very clear that they want to take care of pensioners. So this government upped the funds for pensioners. Immediately it came in, and transparency was instilled. Before you know, they started paying people back to back to back. But eventually, the process took a lower speed. There were some challenges, human factors, and all of that. We understand, but there were also complaints that they were, racketeering in that sector. Not one person, not two people. It was becoming trend, and the government again listened and said, "Oh, this is not how it should be." Now, for the first time in the history of Bayelsa State, you have heard that all these staffers that belong to the civil service are leaving, and the call is that people with more character should be sent there. It shows that the talking is yielding result, and there's attentiveness too from the part of the government. Now, look at the case of this lady. People talked, everybody, and the government again have stepped in. So one thing that must not stop is the talk. Constructively engage, explain, complain. At every forum that you have, talk against what is bad. The minute light comes, darkness will give way. So we must not stop talking. We must not be intimidated by talking. But while you also talk, as a legal practitioner, I will also admonish that you talk within the confines of the law. So you don't become a victim, or you don't come and play the victim card when you have obviously stepped your legal bounds.
But you're talking about the talking. But some Nigerians feel powerless, believing that their voices don't count.
Don't even count at all.
How can citizens overcome this sense of helplessness?
I agree. When effort is not yielding as much results, it is not wrong for people to lose confidence and get disillusioned. We live in a system where many times people have spoken and it hasn't yielded as much result. So I share in their feeling. But the problem is, if we stop talking, if we stop engaging, it's going to be far worse. I've listed, 3 instances here in Bayelsa State that people have talked and it has yielded result. It shows that people are listening. It shows that there's the listening ear. I give you another instance. When the motor park, was moved to Igbogini, there were certain complaints that were made by, commuters and all. And the commissioner went there, engaged the stakeholders, even the deputy governor also engaged the stakeholders, and they agreed, came to terms, and had some agreement. Now, assuming nobody spoke, it means that it would have stayed that way. So we must not stop talking.
So that means accountability in governance. One of the things one of the
The
solutions
frontliner.
is talking. Keep talking.
Keep talking, keep saying it, keep addressing what is wrong.
Then what role? Why you are talking all these things? What role do you think media and the civic organizations have to really get to do it in letting people know concerning accountability?
Front burners, they are usually the front burners in talking, because sometimes individual power might not be as strong as a corporate power. True. And the media is the fourth estate of the realm. And most often than not, many information will come through the media. So if they are front burners in ensuring that proper information, proper guide, or proper discourse is brought for people to air their view for and against an issue, you see that they are taking the lead. Now, for an individual, you can just simply go, "Oh, you have been called, you've been arrested for so reason." But if the person is in an association, is a CSO, a corporate body, maybe the NBA, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, if they are speaking corporately, they have more voice, they have more power, they have more capacity to address these issues. And most times, when you see these people coming in, they don't come from an illiterate point of view. They come from an informed point of view, knowing that they have first gone through the process of gathering information, analyzing it, and looking at what is on ground. So reconciling this thing, they see this shortfall. So there's a concern, and that's why they are coming out. So they are critical stakeholders in the accountability sector. For instance, individually, some people don't even have the budget that is passed, that fiscal document that is important. But as an organization, most organizations can apply and get copies. And from there, they will look at the performance index of a certain unit. Oh, you say healthcare, it's 5 billion per annum. You say primary and secondary and tertiary healthcare are going to go up this much. If that is what you have said, looking at a Cremor local government area that you have a max total amount A, B, and C, we see a shortfall. What is happening? When that comes up, the commissioner for health will look at it. When he looks at it, if truly there's a shortfall, he will communicate back to his principal, the governor, and say, oh, this area, we feel this and this is happening. The government will look at it. Oh, we have health as a priority. So, commissioner, what steps can we take? You say, oh, this is the direction to go. You look at it, you call the stakeholders and say, yes, we see that there is some gap. There's some gap in this process. However, the governor has given his assurances. He has done A, B, and C, and give us 3 months. We'll be able to manage these issues. All of these can only be made possible. It's an accounting process holding them responsible to what they have said they are going to do. But, it's not an individual thing. You cannot do it alone.
Yeah, the moment you say this, so many things are coming up in my mind. But at this time, we're going to be taking the phone lines. Phone lines will be open now.
Yeah.
And have the mind of the people. And let's hear what they have to say concerning accountability.
All right, let's call now. We've spoken a lot, so let's hear from you. 0707 747 1522 0912 1975. Just call us up and drop your own, thoughts to the conversation. Remember, we're looking at Michael Zekume's call for accountability in governance. And Mr. Paraboma Mbombo, Esquire, is here, and he's done a great job. Let's hear from you. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Comrade Ayoko calling from Sinashos, a great guest in this season.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yes, you have said a whole lot. All you said that all what you have testified is nothing but the truth. The governor have done well. I commend him. He has in my mind, just like you said, because of the reform system. But the only thing I want to appeal, let there be follow-up, let there be backup. Because we can remember when the governor made a declaration that
We lost that. You call back probably and conclude your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we have a comment from Facebook. That is because we're streaming live right now. Sammy Ball says there is indeed power in unity. You just dropped that. So thank you for that comment. You can go there. If you drop your comment, we'll also be reading for you. Thank you.
All right, then let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Aibanwa Bakidermo. I'm calling from Onopa community. Accountability. Some persons have decided to, speak to the slogan, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. They don't want you to ask questions. They don't want you to have access to information. Even if your rights are infringed, some of them, they believe they have the money, they have political power. They can mobilize people against you to make sure that you are silenced. So I think the citizens should not remain passive. They should acquire civic knowledge, how to organize themselves to make the society better by bringing these persons, politicians, business organizations, to account for their activities. Because if some of these citizens continue to support government officials, politicians, and even business organizations, when they are doing the wrong things, they themselves, who are supporting, will become victims. And they will bear the consequence of their actions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. Let's take another one. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Comrade Emmanuel. I'm calling from Amarata.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, I think this issue of transparency or lack of it in governance, so that we keep complaining, And we have been complaining for quite a very long time. Ever since I was born, I've always heard about it. But I'm beginning to learn now that it is not really because people in government lack transparency, but it is actually a problem of the Nigerian masses. It is, if it were just something that political leaders lack or leaders lack, the problem would have been solved a long time ago. Because the leaders that we have in this country are probably less than 2 million people, and we are more than 200 million people. So because since 1960, a lot of leaders have taken over from other people. Those people that took over were probably students who were probably members of the masses who were complaining about transparency lacking in governance. Now they have taken over, but the problem continues. That probably means that's why I said it is a problem of the masses. So even if we keep taking over, people will just transport what we were lacking when we were members of the masses to corridors of power. So for this thing to stop, it is the Nigerian people that will have to, from your families, from your school, from whatever you are doing, before you get to corridors of power, on your own, if you have a patriotic spirit, is something that is terribly lacking amongst most of us, probably up to 80% of us. Police people, you are not born to be a policeman. You were once just maybe an ordinary person before you begin to wear the police uniform. So if at our individual level, at our family, at our business level, if we fail to change ourselves, we continue to talk probably for the next 200 years again. Very far.
Thank you. Thank you, Mano.
Thank you very much. I think we'll go for a short break. Let's go for a short break. When we return, we'll take your calls and we'll bring the program to an end. This is still Let's Talk Nigeria.
Want to grow your business fast? Golden 97.5 FM has got the perfect solution for you. You can locate our radio house at Mike Opopo Street, Bansha, Yenagua, Bayelsa States. Whether it's your business, music, event, or special promo, Golden FM has got you covered. So hurry now and let's put your brand in the spotlight.
Are you looking for a great car rental service in Yenagua City of Bayelsa State? Experience the best with
Bayelsa women. The spotlight is on you. It's your time to flourish and lead. Step into the Flourish and Lead Women's Empowerment Summit. 2 days of powerful workshops, inspiring sessions, and a vibrant sisterhood designed to help you rise with courage and lead with confidence. And here is more. The first 50 women to arrive each day gets a special gift. Plus, there will be cash prizes, free meals, and free counseling sessions, all waiting for you. The date is 10th and 11th of September. Time is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Venue 102 Tamara Hall, Otiotio Road, Yeniswe, Yenagua, Bayelsa State. Registration is absolutely free. Sign up today on Facebook and on Instagram at Pass It On with Debbie or call 0707-919-7683. Don't miss this life-changing experience. Flourish and lead. Bold voices, bright futures. This message is brought to you by Pass It On with Debbie Boro Waritimi.
Experience the gold standard on Golden FM. You got it. Go. Golden FM. Yeah. 97.5.
All right, let's talk Nigeria, the final stage of the program. We were looking at Mike Ozekome, SAN's call for accountability in governance. We have looked at it from different shades, and Barrister Paraboma Mbombo has done justice to the topic, but we want to hear your opinion, and that's why we're opening phone lines right away. 0707 747 1522, 0912 1975. Call us up and tell us what you think for the next 5 minutes before we go. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
We're fine. We're fine.
My name is Owe. I'm calling from Savagria.
Okay, wait. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it could call of accountability of those in government. I mean, are they accounting of whatever thing they are doing in government? I don't think we are we can only talk through the radio. Even when we are talking through the radio, I don't think they are even hearing. Let's give you an example. That's an example. Maybe we have forgotten that by chance. The agric money that they share within themselves, have we not been talking? Has anybody for the accountability? Have they reformed the money? Answer that question. Who is talking that one again? Are they not supposed to account for those money? That money has gone down the drain.
We can't say they share amongst themselves, you know. That's an allegation that cannot be substantiated.
I'm sorry. It's like I had even the buzzing authority that money was given to the past commissioners that have gone. They give it to them for agri. Where is the agri there? Where is their farmland they produce? And the governor said they should return the money. Have they returned the money? Nobody.
So that's why we keep talking. That's why we need to keep talking.
Fora to this question. There was a time